the Tau noticed these gratuitous moaning Tau that were stitched together with other Tau, and they were like, "Help, kill us, as they were fighting the Tyranids and being used as a meat shield. And they're like, they're a fucking Tau. And the Chikari are like, ha 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 ha.
Was that us?
And the Tau was so pissed off by this that they then launched a counter-invasion of an Eldari craft world.
Oh, wow,
and
okay.
destroyed an Eldari craft world that was an innocent Eldari craft world because they didn't understand the difference between Eldari and
the Chikari were like, this has worked out great.
Brilliant.
That'll keep Slaanesh from the door for a few more hours. Oh, it's great.
Welcome to the In the Tank podcast. Get ready for an hour of hot 40k goodness coming in your ears. You're in the tank now, baby.
We're live.
We are indeed live. Welcome to In the Tank. How you doing, my man? You okay?
I'm all right now. We've had some marginal technical issues this morning, which we are working our way through. So I will apologise in advance if we have a random chop in the middle of this episode. Yeah. I'll try and blend it really seamlessly with my editing skills. But
wet blend it.
But my computer just keeps crapping out. So we'll see what happens.
Your soundboard's like, nah. It's like on Wii. It's like, nah, I'm all right. I'm fine. I just
It's some kind of Windows update that's happened. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I'm sorry. I'm a Mac boy to my core. I do apologise.
You look like a Mac boy.
I do. Well, yeah. I mean, I've got long hair and I'm a hippie, so why wouldn't I?
Yeah, exactly.
How's life, my man? You okay?
Good.
How's your hobbying been?
It's been good, mate. I've finally varnished the GSC that I had for our little doubles tournament, which is good. So I can actually put all the rust effects and all the like Marsy kind of dust on them. Because as I learned, you cannot do that and then varnish them for two reasons. And this is a good little tip for those of you out there.
Blows it off.
A, it blows it all off. And B, even if it doesn't blow it off, it wets it and it just sort of turns it into a paint. And secondly, the rust, the dirty down rust is activated by water. So because obviously varnish has a little bit of water in it, it basically just fucks all the rust up. So don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that
after that.
Do that after. Is that like a pigment? Is that like a pigment?
Yeah, well, the dust is a pigment powder, and the rust is obviously dirty down rust, which is a sort of like sloppy Giuseppe kind of paint. But it's great. They'll look much better once I get this layer on. But at least they're all varnished now, so I'm not going to be knocking the tips of claws off every 2 seconds whenever I touch them.
The tips and claws.
Tips, not the tits. I'm not playing Slaanesh, Russ. I'm playing Gene Stealer Colts. There are some female models, but generally their tits are in rather than out, Slaaneshi style.
Sorry, this is where my mind's going to.
Yeah,
today,
clearly,
obviously.
God. How's your hobby been?
Oh, really good. So I'm like biting my way through my word bearers, like as a quick palate cleanse before I finish off my Dark Angels. That I will need to talk about the Dark Angel stuff in a minute because I got a lot to say about that in a post-tournament wrap-up. But I have started doing the Abaddon in a Lunar Wolves colour scheme. What do you think of that?
I think it's wicked. I've seen some videos that you've been sending me, and he looks really cool. Hashtag it'll look good when it's finished, obviously. But you know, it's a cool scheme. Really cool scheme.
The white. I'm going to tie it all together with word bearers by making all of his cloaks and stuff like Galvor, Baki, dark, reddy, crimson.
Look really good.
But he's going to be snow white with black trim around it.
Snow White.
Snow White.
Pattern's like little bird on his finger.
Right at the end of his Talon of Horus.
Yeah.
Just there, like a little bird on the end. But yeah, I think it looked cool, and it'd be a very different looking Abaddon because I'm not a massive fan of the Black Legion scheme, and I fucking hate the Sons of Horus like Seafoam Green scheme. It's just a weird scheme as far as I'm concerned. So to go back in time with the old Lunar Wolves, that's pretty mint as far as I'm concerned. And then of course I'm also building Possessed. And you like those, didn't you? Where I'm smashing together Mark IV kits and Possessed and doing like
some really cool little conversions. Yeah,
thank you. Like doing little mini Galvor backy style things, and it also breaks up all of the monotony of all of the Possessed units.
Because if you're running 30 of the damn things, which you clearly are planning to, then they're all going to look very samey unless you kind of break them up a bit. So I think it's a good shout.
Well, I'm breaking them up with that, and obviously the Blade Slave kit and the OG Galvor back Forge World kit, so that it'll look like a horde of like various different looking
look sick.
Possessed. So that's the plan.
But thank God I managed to talk you out of getting the original Possessed box, because they had one at our shop when we were there the other day, and he was like, "Shall I get it?" And I was like, "Russ, please don't spend money on that. Like that needs to stay on that shelf forever."
There are some dodgy things in that box, but there's some heads that look pretty cool.
Some of the heads are cool, but most of it's just like, I could make better tentacles out of blue tack.
I get that. I was mainly going to pilfer it for bits.
Yeah. In fact, I opened up one of my boxes the other day when I was moving stuff into the battle barn, right? And I've got a couple of boxes that are like very, very old from when I very first started collecting. And I've got some like metal Chaos Space Marines. And you can see what I've done is I've made my own Possessed, but I've used blue tack to make all their arms and stuff. And I'll find a picture of them at some point. They're all still there with their little blue tack tentacles. I know. I didn't paint them. They're just, stuck on, just blue tack tentacles. But like, it's so cool.
Because I want a second ed, third ed, Chaos Space Marine army of like metal minis so bad, but the prices are outrageous. I wish I had a time machine. I kind of have to now like 3D print them, but like, oh God, I want to do a second ed Word Bearers force so bad. So bad.
It's cool.
But there we go. It's what it is. I have a tournament report.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
I had my eyes pushed in, Ed. I got wrecked.
We've had a bit of a history of this recently. We're sitting here like talking to people like we actually know what we're talking about, and like we just get our bums pushed in every tournament.
So, to be fair, actually, so I'm gonna try and be a nice person. Also, big shout out, Michael Core, Didcot Games Club, into the Maelstrom 7, the Didcot Games Club in general. Awesome bunch of people. Like, we had people from the Warwickshire Games Club, because Ben, my first opponent, I think is a member of that Games Club with the old jerseys and stuff. But like,
you love jerseys.
I had an infrared thing as well.
Oh no, you had a laser, did he? Of course he fucking did. Ben! I'm disappointed.
I will say, genuinely, the nicest TO I have ever met in my entire life is old Michael
he's
Core,
the best.
And his boards are the best ever.
He's done such a good job of actually making UKTC terrain look interesting.
Oh, dude,
because whenever you go to like the London Grand Tournament, it's all just like grey. Whereas he's got all these really colourful ones with like all like bushes and stuff.
They're even themed based on the mats and stuff.
They are. It's super cool.
I would just say, as like pillars of your like wargaming community, we should be very thankful for having Michael Core on a local-ish level. Like, what a legend. You're great. Keep it up, buddy. We love you. And we're going to go into loads of your events next year.
I can second this. Like, I go to as many of his events as I possibly can do. A, to support him because he is the best, and secondly because it's just a really great event, and there's always like a good bunch of people at actually like a solid competitive level, and you've got like a good sort of mix of new people every time, and also some of the like better players there are really solid. Like, if you it's applicable to everyone. If you just want a good event, just go. So 100% second all of that. And also, like, it's around, obviously, Didcot. It's sort of South Oxfordshire. Like, if you're within an hour of that, you guys should do it. They're on Facebook. We'll stick a link to their next event in the description to this, somewhere down below, so that you guys have got it if you want to go. We're going to the one in February, which will be, I haven't actually bought my ticket yet, but I will be going. The Oxford Onslaught 4, I think. And then we're also going to be hopefully doing the team event that they're doing in April, but I have to wait for confirmation on that one yet. So
true.
If we can, that'd be
try
awesome.
hard that day.
That'd be cool if you could come. But so we'll see what happens. But guys, honestly, check out his events. They are awesome. Can't say anything bad
there you
about
go.
them.
See, thank you, Michael.
Thanks.
So just as a tournament roundup, so fuck Gene Stealer Colts. No. So my first opponent was Ben. Bless him. Shout out to Ben. Lovely opponent. Lovely guy. Total gentleman. but fuck your army. No, to be fair, he won the entire event. So my first
did he?
game,
I thought he might.
Oh yeah, he won the entire event. Like he was an obvious first place the entire. I think he went 3-0 the entire weekend, right? Second place with Blood Angels though, which is pretty
interesting.
But needless to say, very cool dude. But that army, man. So I think I did everything that I should have done correctly, which was don't allow him to swarm the board. And I actually made all of my charges that game, which was a fucking miracle. And even then I was on the back foot. So I just basically was super aggressive, spread out, took a couple of early units down. I think I took like 3 units out on turn 1. And I was feeling really good about myself. And he rezzed all of them. And then, because of course. And then just as time went on, I was just counter-punching him and taking stuff out. And then it was just like hideous flamer death. Just upon me. Although I am proud of my charge of the Light Brigade Assault Terminator block that made it all the way to his backfield objective and got the secret mission.
You've done that to me.
I was like, fucking A, that's great.
Yeah.
Those
boys are unstoppable. Once they get on it, they're like, I fucking...
Constantine is like, let's go, burn the heretic. Savage. Savage. Like
he's a really good player, Ben. Like we're not going to keep blowing smoke up his ass because his head will get too big. But he's a very solid player. I also thought his army was beautifully painted. I saw some pictures of it.
Stunning.
Did you see my comment on Facebook?
I did. You cheeky shit. You little shit. Fuck you, Ed.
I commented on a picture of Russ's army and I said those Dark Ages look great when they're finished. He's not happy.
Considering that I was painting your fucking vehicle until 1 o'clock in the morning before our event, you need a hush. You're a thin ice, young man. So and then so that was cool, and I got my ass kicked. Although it was closer than I thought it was going, but then I think he was a bit merciful for me getting my secret mission. To be fair, but it was something like 80-50 or something. So like a solid victory.
You got some points.
I did all right. Yeah. Second game, played against Eldari.
Yep.
A very elite list. Lots of Phoenix Lords.
Nice.
A couple of Prisms, which you don't see very often. Avatar, harsh. There was there was one interaction that I'm not a massive salty McSalty about that. I was a bit like, where it felt a little bit like thing, but like he was a lovely opponent.
Yeah,
it was nice. There was just one thing that like slightly annoyed me, but I'm not going to go there. But it was a good game. It was good. Really cool. Again, piloted very well. There was one great moment that I had where he underestimated my Assault Terminator block as well. Where I like rapid ingressed them. Yeah. And he had a unit of Striking Scorpions and the Phoenix Lord of the Striking Scorpions. I can't remember his name.
Yeah,
and basically he charged into my block of 10 Assault Terminators, and I did the like -1 damage strat, and I popped the Iron Resolve, and he only took 1 out. And then I proceeded to just like nail the entire unit.
My turn.
I just went wham and just smashed it and killed like the Phoenix Lord in like 1 turn of combat. So that was so much fun. I was like,
yeah, it's great.
And again, that unit was amazing. Teleported back to my front lines and then front charged an Avatar. Very cool. A lot of cool moments, but just not cool. And then I played against a great AdMech player to finish. I severely underestimated. There was one AdMech unit. Which are the guys with the treads?
The breaches. Those things are hot.
They're savage in close combat. I didn't realize how good they were. I'm like an idiot. I was like, oh, they're great at shooting, but they just look like dudes with guns.
Those big snippy arms of theirs hurt, right? They're damage 3, aren't they?
I charged them with a unit of jump pack intercessors.
Oh no!
Instant regret. I was like, oh shit! They just then ate the unit. But again, big old Thunderhammer boys
came in,
just
clapped them up.
Just eradicated them. So I won that game quite convincingly. So I managed to claw a game back at the end, but I learned a valuable lesson, which is. There are some units in that detachment that I really liked. I think that weirdly, the Assault Terminators punch really way above their weight class for the points that they are, because they're only 360 points for 10.
Yeah.
And if I was really juicing that detachment, I still think it's possible, but I think you would have to go all in on assault terminators, and I only have 10. And I think if you were to make that list work, which we're talking about the first company detachment, you would have to run 30 Hammer.
Yeah, just go hard.
I think that's how you do it. I think that's actually how you do it. Don't have access to that. So I'm sitting on my list now.
You've got so many Terminators, Russ. How have you not got enough to do that? You've got like 60 Terminators.
Yeah, but they're all like differently armed and stuff, and they don't all have thunder hammers and storm shields and stuff. I could do it if it wasn't WYSIWYG, but I just don't want to play that game.
No, that's fair. That is fair.
So I've rejuvenated my list, and I've decided that I need a shooting phase, quite frankly.
Yeah, so, that is something we also lacked in our doubles event. Like, not having some kind of, something to just scare people. And it also, keep the opponent. I like to call them like the Doomsday Arts. If I run 2 Doomsday Arts, I like to call them the honesty boats, because they basically just sit at the back, keeping your opponent honest. That's all they do.
Well, I think it also pips that damage over that point where you can then finish stuff off in close combat. But it's when you charge stuff in close combat, and because close combat isn't as lethal as it was, you inevitably still have stuff just left the dregs
we
alive.
had that so many times.
And that unit's then tied up, and then you're like, oh shit, I can't then do stuff with that unit. So for my next list, I'm running a couple of gladiators. I'm bringing my Hellblasters back, because they're my OG boys, and I actually quite enjoy those.
Yeah.
And to bring us into our next sort of subject as news, Black Knights are now absolutely fucking amazing. Oh my god, Black Knights are good with the new data slate.
What damage is their weapon? 2?
Only 1.
Only 1. Okay, so that's still cool.
Dev wounds anti-vehicle, anti-monster on the charge with 3 attacks each. Yeah, with 3 attacks each. That can threaten a lot, especially if you then Plasma Talon them on the way in.
Yeah, sure.
And then charge in.
You could probably kill a Rhino with that.
Not impressed. No, if you're running like a command squad with 6 Black Knights as well in it, that's 9 Black Knights.
Mm-hmm.
All right, mate.
Tell you what I'm not impressed with. You've had an entire week to move that Dark Angel symbol 10 inches lower, and you still haven't done it.
I'm not going to do it.
You got to do it.
Just to annoy you. I'm not going to do it. So what do you think of the new data slate? My God.
Yeah. Oh, there's been a lot of changes. Like, we're not going to go into all of it today, because there's so much to cover. And you've probably seen about 3 million other YouTubers that have covered it already. And to be honest with you, if you can't read a fucking document and you need somebody to read it out for you, you've got your options out there. So
that's a bit aggressive. Like, chill out. God, it's a very complicated game.
What really annoys me is when someone does a video on the new data slate and they actually add no value to it. Like, if you're going to read it out, that's
at least
fine.
give an opinion.
But just tell me what you think of it at the end, at least. Fucking hell! Because I just watched a video earlier that was just literally just someone reading out the new Space Marine detachment. I was waiting for him to talk about its competitive value or some interesting, some takes or whatever. And he was just like, "So that's it for this week." And I was like, "Well, I knew all that shit by reading the document." Honestly, fucking hell.
Dude.
Anyway, so there's been a new balanced data slate. You need to up your game, YouTubers. Been a new balanced data slate. What we're going to do is, instead of just reading the fucking thing, we're just going to talk about what we think about it and add the value that way. But I think it's some really cool shakeups to the game. As a Genestealer Cult player, I'm really happy that they finally fixed our fucking army rule.
Yeah.
Because I'm fed up of it either being I get all my units back and then my opponent is feeling bad because they've just basically been diced, or I don't get any units back and I'm feeling bad because I haven't had an army rule this game. So being able to now balance it, and you can actually choose which ones come back, and that's more of a decision point, and it's actually more tactical. They've done so well, and it's balanceable going forward because those values are changeable, so I think they've nailed it, personally.
I really like it. I think it's really I've always liked these data slate changes, right? Actually, to be fair, where I know apparently guard players are a bit salty because they've been nerfed pretty hard for some reason, and so have Sisters players been nerfed quite hard, to be fair. But GSC's interesting, where I think that consistency means that there's going to be so much less feel bad for both players.
Yes, 100%.
And that's not a problem.
Because you now know what you're up against, right? Your opponent now goes, okay, I know there's some stuff coming back this game if I kill it. And that's a much better way of doing it. So really good.
Space Marines are going to be very strong.
Yeah, there's some really interesting stuff going on with them.
I made a prediction that Space Marines were going to be great. And Space Marines are going to be great. People are already in the Dark Angels groups going, well, I'm going to slack off Dark Angels entirely. They're not loyal. They're not loyal Sons of the Lion. Fuck off. Go to Girly Man's side, traitors.
I think there's some really strong builds, isn't there, now?
Dude, you're going to see now Gilliman, or Girly Man, with 3 whirlwinds on the backfield, just raining death. No, it's going to happen. It's going to happen because you re-rolls, you double oaths.
Oh god!
Like your double oaths from Gulliman and what they can now do as a result of that with the wound buffs from the oath.
Can you do it every turn? Double oath.
He can, Gilliman can, because that's what it gives you inherently. And then obviously the buffs to oath in new Space Marines with a backfield of fucking whirlwinds.
Yeah,
scouts in the midfield doing shit like other Ultramarine stuff going on. Yeah, that's going to be a list that you're going to have to deal with. I'm afraid. Lots of indirect whirlwind death. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I love that. Desolation Marines Part 2, I guess. What could go wrong? And I think it's going to really blow the doors down, actually, in terms of stuff going on.
I'm just really happy that they changed Armor of Contempt, because it was really annoying that you could just put it on. Have you not seen this change?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, did you not? Oh, we get to see the live reaction of Russ being really upset. So, you know how obviously AOC, you use it, you get it for the phase, right? That's no longer how it works. It's changed in every instance to only affect the shooting of that one particular unit, that activation now, and that's it. So basically, it's still really good. Oh, fighting, obviously. It's still really good because a lot of the time, especially in the fight phase, you're usually only going up against one thing anyway. And so, but it just means that if you've got like lots of little things shooting, you're only going to get it against one of them.
If you're a Space Marine player sat on Armor of Contempt, then you're playing your faction wrong because there's so much more.
I don't know. It's quite pivotal sometimes, especially on 2-up saves, like with Terminators. It can be really annoying to chew through. If you're like you only got one AP. Oh, so annoying. So
fair. Okay, fair enough.
Tilt that mass. But so that was a good change, I think, just because it was quite a very, very strong strat sometimes. We've just had loads of stuff, like Deathwatch looked really cool. They're back in the game.
Yeah, Deathwatch are back,
which are awesome. Yeah, some new stuff for them.
Yeah.
So I think it's one hell of a time to be a wargamer at the minute, like a 40k player.
I'm loving this, by the way. I'm loving this interaction between G-Dubs and the community, and being really transparent and giving new updates and stuff. And I know that like the more casual gamers are going to be like, I can't keep up. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, not sorry. I'm like, sorry. I'd much rather this than have a really unbalanced edition from the beginning to the end of the edition and never change it and then feel really shitty about it.
There was 2 things that they've done, which I really liked. First of all, they're saying that every 3 months they're now going to give an MFM and a game balance update, not just every 6 months on the game balance. So they're now tied and they're going to be every 3 months, which I think is great. But I think the best thing that we have seen out of this update on the MFM was that they have finally put in brackets how much points things went up or down by next to them. So now we know red went down, red went up, green went down, and then it actually tells you how much. So you don't have to go in and look and figure it out.
Your thinky brain goes, oh, okay, that's
it's just an easier way to sort of look through them. So I'm really glad they did that. But great time. Really, like we just literally had the Fabius Bile detachment drop 10 minutes before we started recording this episode. So that's exciting. Russ is pumped for that on his little
possessed extra attacks. Extra movement. Rude. Mm-hmm. Also, by the way, Primarch's got a little bit of a boost in the update. Morty can now deep strike.
Yeah, he can. Which he should have always been able to be honest with you. He's got big fat wings.
Rapid ingress that fat moth. Just like sit him in the middle, be like, kill him or die.
Fat moth.
Kill him or die. Kill my fat moth, boy. Do it.
Have you ever had like a huge moth just bust into your room?
I
absolutely hate it. I remember I was sat on my chair one time gaming, and this massive moth just hit me in the face and like fully just panicked me and took me off my chair. It was awful. So
because I'm an impressionable youth, I love a moth and I grab them like Gandalf, and I'm like.
You go,
and I like let him out the window, and like, yeah, I
was
love
like,
a
what the
moth.
fuck are you doing?
I love a moth. Anyway, cool. Very last thing. This is a very fuck you die to a very specific part of the Warhammer community, and I'm talking about the edgelordy right-winger douchebags that are like, Henry Cavill's the Amazon show isn't going to come out. Blah, 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 blah.
What are they going to do for content now? What are they going to do?
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? There is a channel out there that's
imagination.
literally just made that video every week for the past 6 months. Henry Cavill cancels. Henry Cavill goes to toilet and doesn't talk about Amazon show. It's doomed.
Fucking honestly,
I hate
worst human beings. Like you guys are terrible content creators.
Stop.
Make better shit. Anyway, ironic us talking about this now, but like it is an official announcement. Also, I fucking called this 2 weeks ago with the stock prices.
You
stuff.
did, yeah.
So I'm gonna like wank myself off here. Like, thank you, past me.
Not live.
But yes, Amazon's going ahead. Holy shit, this is huge. This is
big.
Absolutely huge. This is huge.
Amazing time to be a 40k player. Right?
No one tell you otherwise. This is a sea. This right now happening right now is a sea change moment in the hobby. And there's going to be shows, not show, but shows. Project One will have an announcement at some time during the new, in 2025. We don't know when. But I'm just so glad that all of those dickhead grifters are now going to have to shut up and go like, oh, we were wrong. Oh.
Do you think it's just going to start with like a black screen and it's going to go, have you heard of the Horus Heresy?
Oh.
It's not a story a chapter master would tell you.
I'll be honest. I was there when the War Master fell, right? When
Horus fell,
first bit of.
You're giving me chills.
This is it.
I can't wait.
I'll be honest. I don't want the Horus Heresy to come first. I want. We've talked about this before.
Yeah, we have.
I want Gaunt's Ghost or Eisenhorn or something a bit softer.
Yeah, just to sort of break you gently in, right?
But I reckon it's going to be Eisenhorn because
that'd be so cool.
Because Gary Oldman was being shown around Warhammer World with his sons recently by Henry Cavill.
Don't do this.
And I'm like, fucking
if Gary Oldman is in this, I'm
Eisenhorn.
Drop my yog.
Look, I'm going to call it right now. I'm going to call it now. 12th of December, 2024.
Oh my God, I can't even.
Gary Oldman for Eisenhorn. My dick would be like. Right?
Just going to punch a hole right through your desk. Also, has any of you guys seen the new secret level Space Marine short animation?
I haven't seen it, but apparently
I watched it. It's fucking cool. It's really good. So get that on if you haven't watched it. It's on Amazon.
But Henry Cavill's even being cool to all like the lore Nazis, like no pun intended, where like he's like gone, look, I'm going to try and keep it as accurate to lore accurate as possible. Don't worry, I'm here for a reason.
He's good for that, right? Because we knew he wanted that with The Witcher, and they kind of bust him a little bit.
But he's in a position of authority here, so like we'll see. I am optimistic. What will obviously be interesting is how our hobby changes as a result of that.
I hope we just get a huge influx of little seals that we can stomp at tournament. No, I'm joking.
Die, seals! No, you want to support them, right?
Oh,
right?
you killed that unit. It's got into Cult Ambush. What's Cult Ambush, you ask?
We'll be like, I'm so sorry, but I would advise doing this. Like,
no, of course
American
not.
History X style.
But no, it'd be really cool to see more people coming, because as we were saying, there's been a little bit of a drop at some point, like 10 years ago or whatever. Not loads of players getting into the hobby, and then during COVID, it's just gone whoa, and now it's just going to keep going. Like the more the merrier, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, dude, it's going to be
no gatekeeping
huge.
Here, boy.
No, I agree. I completely agree with you. Here we go. But get ready now for like the shift of those content creators to be like, should we be gatekeeping the hobby? We need to protect the hobby about these new
see our gatekeeping episode if you're interested.
Yeah, exactly. So there we go. So let us know your thoughts in regards to like the Amazon announcement, and like, comment, subscribe.
That was only about half an hour into the episode, Russ. You were a little bit slow this week. Yeah.
At least it wasn't the end of the video.
2 minutes last week.
I know. That's the best so far. Not that anyone saw it.
I've never seen you last 2 minutes, to be honest with you.
Yeah, there we go. See, it's one of our. I actually thought last week was a great episode.
I thought it was banging. I think my personal theory is because I cut in that bit where you said "fuck" right at the beginning, and YouTube was like, "I don't like this."
Yeah, I don't like adult content for adults now.
I can't put any adverts for Coca-Cola over this video. Fuck you. So
apparently you have to give like the 2 or 3 minute like cooldown, right?
Yeah, well, fuck them.
But yeah, please show some support. We've had such nice comments of late, and you guys are great. There's someone that says that they want to buy the Kabunda t-shirt twice. Yeah. So like, we need to get a Kabunda t-shirt.
Need to get a Kabunda t-shirt done.
There we go, Kabunda. Yeah. So there we go. So awesome. So our first major topic of today needs to actually be established now.
God, we're only half an hour in and we've fucking only just gone to the first major topic.
Sometimes it's like feast or famine in regards to news, where sometimes like nothing happens and then everything happens in a week, and it's like, no, we've got to unpack this. And we are like custodians of the hobby, so as well as like talking heads. So there we go. So Trench Crusade. This is going to be such a clickbaity like thing. Trench Crusade, the death of 40k.
Oh, thumbnail.
Exactly. Can they also learn from each other?
Oh.
So, you don't know that much about Trench Crusade, as you've said in the past, really.
I know a few things.
For me to enlighten you a little bit, in as much as... obviously, it was one of the most successful tabletop Kickstarters of all time. I think it got something like 3 mil, which, okay, it's not GW numbers, but it's a lot for a Kickstarter, okay?
Yeah.
One of the practices that I really, really like about Trench Crusade, and I know that you will go, is that on day one of the Kickstarter finishing, all rules for it were free and able to be downloaded from their main hub. They also had 2 different price brackets. One for physical miniatures that, of course, they would still send out to people, which is totally fine. And another one were STL files that they send out and meant that you could print yours on day one of that Kickstarter going live.
Yep.
Imagine if GW did something similar.
Mate.
I know, goddamn. Where, like, you know, they pre-released it, sent those files out so that you could print them, as well as obviously still get a nice... like plastic sort of kit, you know, to potentially use and chop and change or a combination thereof. What are your thoughts on that as a community-based
I think
sort of
that is
thing?
fucking awesome. I
Isn't
think
it?
Personally, I don't know that we'll see Games Workshop selling their STLs at any point.
No.
Probably not.
Not for a while. I think
Yeah.
it's potentially something that will happen.
I think that this is a very forward-thinking way to do this,
Absolutely.
right? And I think as a competitor, this is a great sort of USP and also just a great like ease of access for your community. So you're literally saying to your community out there, here are our rules. They're free. Do you play with them what you want, which is amazing because people can then just go and play the rules with existing minis or print them or whatever if they want to. But the nice thing is, obviously, they can give you those physical minis if that's what you want and you don't have a 3D printer or know anyone with one or whatever. Or the STLs, which allows those 3D printing enthusiasts and their mate to get the minis a little bit cheaper. I think it's fucking awesome. Like, I've been wanting Games Workshop to release their rules for free for the longest ass time. Or even at the like worst Games Workshop, please, fuck me, just put them, like if you want to paywall them, roll them into Warhammer Plus, because that's not got the biggest subscriber base anyway. Like, if you put them in there and just say that if you've got Warhammer Plus, you'll get all the rules on the app always, even if it's a new codex. Just do that for fuck's sake.
Because it also makes the physical codexes kind of useless for resale when you've used the code already as well. So it's like... it's just a feel bad across the board.
I've got so many old codexes from old editions and random shit that I wouldn't.
Don't get me. I mean, don't get me wrong, right? Still, probably release a codex for like old boys like myself that would probably.
I like a physical
book
for
our favorite factions, right? And also to like moving the lore forward to figure out what's going on with them and stuff like that, right? But like, oh my god, it's such an unnecessary. And I've already spoke about this before, where it's like. It takes your hobby budget away from the actual hobby itself, and it's so pointless because you're gonna make money from people buying. That hobby budget isn't gonna then not go on the faction that they want to play. And actually, I would argue that it makes people more experimental with their purchases, where like they're more likely to look at a new faction and go, "Oh, I fancy playing.
Yeah, because they don't have to go and go, exactly. I need to buy a codex that costs 40 quid.
Which feels like a commitment.
Yeah.
But if you then just pick up a box of like Battle Line and you go, oh, how's this going to be? That's still the same amount of money for what would be a buck, if that makes sense. So just, I don't know.
No, I do think that the Trench Crusade is going about it the right way. Like that, genuinely, really, really good. It's a very modern approach, and I like it.
The other thing that I like is they've said that they will allow 3D printing elements to it. As in third-party stuff. And even that they have a partnership with those third-party places, that they would get a small financial kickback from those third-party places, and allow them to produce miniatures under the Trench Crusade like thing, and it to be all above board, but everyone to be paid appropriately. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so
which is what fucking GW should have been doing for ages, because they're in this weird situation where they on one side ultra protective of their IP, but equally we all know it that there's like thousands of retailers out there that create third party things for their game.
Yeah.
Because they don't facilitate it.
And they just sort of name them slightly wanky names. And like just slightly look off, not quite 100%.
So silly.
Yeah.
Because if you were like a third party retailer, and okay, it's annoying that you might have to give like 5% or 8% of your profits to it, but at least you're then secure in your mind that one day GW isn't going to come knocking and essentially destroy your entire business.
No, because they do that a lot. The cease and desists are real. Like, there's a lot of companies out there that produce stuff, and they fly a little bit too close to the flame with their design, and Games Workshop are like cease and desist. But
we're also talking about like jewelry, dice boxes, dice,
so much stuff,
like loads of stuff, dongles or whatever, plushies. But like, if GW were just a bit more like chill and just like, okay, like give us like 5% or whatever of your profits, like how fucking easy would that be? And like, I know it's complicated, and I know you've got boards, and you know your images could be used for stuff that you don't have control over. I totally get that, but at least it makes it all above board, and people are like also giving you money where you would otherwise not have money. It's just a fucking no-brainer.
Yeah, think of all the Warhammer porn out there as well. God, they'd be rolling in it, mate.
Exactly. Reddit.
Nuns with guns and buns.
That being said, there is some things that I think Trench Crusade would really benefit from as well. And that is like a miniature Black Library style Trench Crusade kind of like lore thing, where obviously they're at the beginning of their journey, but like having like a sub company, because again, very vast, awesome lore game with Blanchitsu's, well, actual Blanche actually, not even Blanchitsu, but actual Blanche, working alongside, and some like old school GW people and devs and stuff like that, like have some books. I'm sure people would love to read about the Knights Templar stumbling over some Eldritch fucking craziness and stuff like that. And the lore seems rich already. Like, get some novels, right? Like, even if they're just digital ones for now, even if you can't have the facility to print that shit, like, maybe there will be some Kickstarters for that, but like, at least digital PDF it and stuff like that. Again, you could do a very similar like approval thing. And also, obviously, 3D printing is great, and if you're working with 3D printers and stuff like that to produce really nice models and stuff, the one thing that GW will always have that's amazing is their quality of their plastic injection molds, which I know might be too much to say, but like, up your game in terms of the material and stuff like that used if you are selling hard copies of stuff, especially for when they go into like, they may even be on shelves one day, we just don't know, right? So like, I hope that you get to the point where you can make or have a partnership with a company that can help make you.
They're not having 5% of our fucking Kabunda t-shirts. Then get out of here.
Fuck you.
Our 2 t-shirts that we've sold to that one guy that commented.
Well, the thing is, we're fine anyway, because we say Kabunda, but the actual pronunciation of his name is Kabanda. So
Kabanda.
Like, we're fine anyway.
No, we're saying Kabunda.
We're saying Kabunda, so it's fine. So like, we'll get around that. So it's cool.
Easy
good. He's Ebenezer good.
Stop.
So earworms, you got him. So Trench Crusade, there are some things that like they can use for that in terms of like keeping the hype of it. Also the community style, like articles, like Warhammer community is great, even if their website is dog shit. But like the way that GW now communicates with their thing and drum up hype is great. Keeping that hype train going would be great for Trench Crusade to get on board with. But let us know if you kickstarted Trench Crusade. What are you most looking forward to?
Yeah.
I want to play those freaky demon guys and also like
some amazing
Janissaries and stuff like that. I don't think you realised like how cool like they were, right?
Until, they're really cool. There's some amazing sculpts. They're very, very different. I love them. They're really good. Very dark. I like it. Very
gritty.
Dark. Yeah, real grim dark.
One would say grim dark. More grim dark than 40k, potentially.
Exactly.
We'll see. Right then, there we go. Cool. That's wicked. So, I'm going to talk quickly about a very taboo subject now. So, the pile of shame. Yeah. Why is it so taboo? And should it be rebranded, which is a bit like like new worldy, as the pile of potential instead?
Yeah.
Which is I can't take thing for that, as Siege Studios that like renamed it the Pile of Potential. How do you feel about the concept of the pile of shame, Ed?
I've always felt deep shame about my about my unpainted grey plastic. It's one of those things where you suddenly wake up at like 4 a.m. with cold sweat, shit. And you're like, See, I haven't even started my death guard yet, and I've got a whole army of them.
See, do you see I don't think that counts as the pile of shame, because the pile of shame for me is in the box, not made.
Some of these are in the
hoarded.
Box. A lot of these are hoarded. Yeah.
Okay. I have a pile of shame. Me and my wife Mel have a pile of shame, like a big old pile of shame.
It's bad.
So do you genuinely feel ashamed of your pile of shame?
No, I think I used to. I think I've got better over the years. So I feel like more, as you said, as a part of potential now, especially because I'm obviously doing the barn. I think that's changed things slightly because we need new armies down the line, and having most of the units already for some of them is really cool. So I think the faster I get with painting, the less I worry about it. I think also, in a world where if I ever make a success of the YouTube with the battle barn, then at some point it would be lovely to be able to afford to get one of these armies commission painted. Now, I know you're not a big commission paint man because you're the same as me, that you like to paint all your own stuff. I agree with you. I do much prefer to paint all my own stuff. But if it comes down to a matter of actually just getting another army done, and I've already got another one that I'm working on and another one after that I'm working on, it would be cool to commission another one so that I don't have to worry about it and take a bit of pressure off. But yeah, I think as I'm getting further down the line, it's actually quite nice to have, more stuff to work on, especially because back then, I obviously spent some money on Warhammer, but it wasn't as much as I'd have spent now if I bought all that stuff new. Like, goodness gracious, the price has jumped like lately. So I think it's all about your headspace. Like,
I do.
You shouldn't feel guilty for having unpainted miniatures. My eyes, or boxes, or exactly, or unbuilt miniatures. Just, I think the thing is to try. This is very difficult sometimes as war gamers because we see the new shiny thing and we're like, I must get it. But like, if you can try not to just instantly jump on every new release and then just, work through what you've got, like that's the best you can do.
GW's a company, right? And they inspire that FOMO style headspace, especially as
they do.
Sometimes when they do the launch boxes, there's always something cool in there.
Or limited releases.
Exactly. And like it taps into that primal brain that we all have of like, must have, right?
Yeah.
But my mentality is, and I did this with my word bearers, right? Is give it like a 2-month, 3-month cooldown.
Yeah.
Right? Where like just sit on it and really unpack it and go like, does this faction represent me on the tabletop? Yeah. Is it going to fit my play style or push me in a nice direction in terms of my play style and give me a bit of contrast?
Yeah.
And do I want to paint them? Right. I've only sold 2 armies in my entire life of being a war gamer. Right. And one of those was a Sigmar army where I was just like, I was real with myself and like, I'm never gonna finish that. I'm never gonna do it because another project will always be part of that, and it's whether you get like buyer's remorse of that. And I did a little bit with that faction where I'm like, I'm actually not going to play that, and I'd rather someone else get some enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
And what is quite nice about Warhammer is, for the most part, it holds its value pretty well.
Yeah.
On the secondary market. Granted, you might take a bump here and there depending on like where you're at with it, but like you will roughly make between 75% or in some cases 100% of what you pay for it, right? So it's not like what you buy is going to be worthless. You will be able to move it on, right? But you know, you sometimes do get that buyer's remorse where you're like, actually, I'm not gonna use that. So sit on it for a bit.
I think that's good advice. Like I've only ever got rid of Sigmar stuff because I just don't have time to play it. And I've sold a few bits of Horus Heresy stuff that you now can't play in 40k. That's about it.
Yeah.
Like all of my 40k stuff I've kept, and I'm really glad that I have because. But actually, that's not true. I did get rid of the Thousand Suns, but that's just because I can't see myself playing them anytime.
This is it.
So
this is it.
They weren't painted though, so I don't think I could ever sell a painted army. Like,
yeah, that's hard. That's
I
emotional.
think I would really,
then.
yeah, there's too much time commitment there.
Yeah,
like in my Necrons, I don't. If I ever sold those, I'd be like, oh my god,
Same
the
with my
amount of
Dark
hours
Angels.
that I spent, they're just not worth
with
selling.
Dark Angels.
Yeah, sell them when I'm dead.
And the emotions, right?
Yeah,
of, like,
exactly.
You using that army on the tabletop for so many years.
I know,
of games.
right? So
it's like you get emotional.
I also heard a lot of stories where people have sold armies due to hard times and then really regretted it. So I think, hang on to your stuff if you can, because it is a personal thing. You know, spending that much time painting an army, you kind of grow quite attached to them.
And also, you know, more than any other generation, I'd argue in history, like our time is intensely valuable, and we get like blindsided by a lot of stuff, whether it's like social media addiction, which is real, or like you know. We all have families or whatever where our hobby time is precious, but you know, that might not always be the case. And it's nice to have like several different, like be in a position where you could dip in and out of different things to keep your enthusiasm for the hobby going, because there's nothing worse than, again, feeling like you're clocking in and clocking out of a second job.
Yeah.
It should be your fun time.
Yeah.
And you still want that spark of excitement. Do you know what I mean? Like I was building Abaddon the other day, and I was like, "This is so cool! Like this is so cool." I was getting really excited about building him, and I was like, "Oh my god, this kit's so good!"
It's nice to get fired up about stuff, isn't it? You know?
Right? And as you said to me, like I knew that I was onto a winner with my word bearers because you said that I was the most enthusiastic that I've been for the hobby since you know me. And the same for you with GSC.
I love
and
them.
a little bit to some extent AdMech, right?
I'm excited about them too.
Well, this is it. And it's like, you know, you don't want to passion kill that by like going like, oh, I'm never going to do it. And then just not do it because like, you know, it all goes into the melting pot, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, and you know, you will return to it eventually, or you won't, and you'll sell the army or whatever. But like, I don't know. It's interesting.
I've got one of my mates, Paul, is the most frustrating like Warhammer friend because he paints everything. And it's really fucking annoys me because he's always like, what shall I get to do next? And I'm like, you finished everything. He's like, yeah, it's all done. Whole army. I'm like, fuck off. So I bought him a load of, because he's like basically bringing all of his armies over to the battle barn.
Is this the Eldar guy?
Yeah, he's bringing all of his armies over to the battle barn and just leaving them there for us to use because he's going to be involved heavily in it because he lives up the road. So he was like, oh, I want to do Eldar next. So I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to just buy shitloads of deals of Eldar. So I like went on eBay and like spoke to people in our local group. I bought fuckloads of Eldar. I've just dumped it all on him. I'm like, get through that bastard. And now he's like, yeah, I've already done like 15 units. I'm like, fuck off, Paul. You've got like a 1-year-old child. Like, how are you doing this? It's so annoying. So I don't know how he does it, but he's an absolute machine. But yeah, he's powering through them. And he's doing a split scheme as well, black and white.
Oh,
mad lad.
I know the pain of that.
He's a fucking mad lad. He sent me a picture of all of the Wraithguard guys with the guns. And I was like, you just knock them out. Oh, God. Lunatic. Anyway,
loony. But you know, but at the same time, you do get quicker. And once you get into a routine with your scheme, and you find shortcuts, and like you know, you make compromises. You'll get to the point actually where you're faster than you realise that you are. And also, as we've said before, if you are a competitive player, having that push of a tourney on the horizon is a great motivator. So, you know, there will be a time probably when I do look at my cabinet of minis and go, oh my God, like 75% of this is painted, and it'll be like the Thanos thing where like he's like, and then I can relax. You know what I mean? But then a part of me will be disappointed that I have nothing to work on.
I don't think that'll be the case though, because now that we're getting these updates every 3 months, right? Yeah. There's especially for Space Marines, there's always new units coming out, and there's always stuff you haven't got that suddenly comes into vogue, and you'll be like, oh, I need 3 of these new things. And
the annoying thing is though, I have a funny feeling that I'll start playing Heretic Astartes
probably,
and do better at playing Heretic Astartes than I have been Dark Angels, and then I won't really ever have to worry again.
Yeah,
and I'll be like, oh no, am I going to be the Heretic Astartes guy now? Do you know what I mean?
It's a weird thing as well, because like when you do it with a tournament, you've always got like some new unit that you need to paint for every tournament. Even if I've got like 4,000 points of Gene Stealers painted, which I don't, I wish I did, but like if I did, I would go to a tournament next year, and at that point something would have changed, and I would go, I now need 3 squads of hybrid metamorphs or something, so I've got to paint another 10. And there is obviously a point of sort of diminishing returns with this. I'm almost there with the Necrons in that I've got like 9,000 points of my Necrons painted already, which is ridiculous. But I still haven't even got half the units painted. It's nuts, you know?
I guess it's because your hobby is never done. It's like a constantly evolving thing, right? And it's like if your whole headspace is to go in this and be like, and actually this brings me quite nicely to my final point on this, which is like, if you get to that place where you're like, okay, and then I'm done, right? I think you're in the wrong hobby.
Right? Paul, you're in the wrong hobby.
But affectionately, like I don't think there is ever a done.
No, that's the thing. He's never done, because he messaged me this morning. He was like, "This new librarian detachment looks interesting for the Space Marines. I might try and paint a few more Space Marines because I'm a bit fed up of painting black." And I was like, "What color scheme are your Space Marines?" He was like, "Black." I was like, okay.
And a cynical person and a dickhead would be like, oh man, it's just a way for people to make lots of money and capitalise on things. But I'll be honest, again, okay, fine, yeah, whatever. But like, we love it. We love the plastic crack. Shut the fuck up. Right?
I can't get enough of it. No, I wish I had 10 of me working full fucking tilt all day painting models. I wish I had it. Let me clone myself. Fuck's sakes, UK government. I wish I had like 10 Eddies. I'd be like, Eddie's a symbol.
I was talking about the hyperbolic time chamber with you from Dragon Ball Z, where like you can like go into a place that freezes time around you, right?
God.
And you just be like, right, I could just get all the painting out of my system and come out with 4 or 5 painted armies and be like, I'm ready to go. Do you know what I mean? And just like have it sorted. But like, but then again, it does keep our passion for the hobby going, doesn't it?
It does.
And like, I'm the biggest, I will call out GW when they do something wrong, right?
Yeah.
But by that same token, I kind of love the evolving, growing addiction of it. And like, it's why we do it. Like, be real, man. It's like, it's why we do it. And like, for anyone to be self-righteous about and be like, well, it should be done. And I'm just like, no, like, let it evolve, let it change.
I'm in this really weird, like, dad hammer phase at the minute, because obviously I've got a toddler. And it's like, I keep sort of having this thing where I'm like, oh, I might have an hour free this afternoon just to quickly do all of the rust on my Gene Stealer cods. And I look longingly at it, and then it's like some huge toddler-related carnage occurs in the other room, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
I pulled away.
That's life.
I pulled away.
But equally
I get there in the end.
The advice that I can give you in that, and I'm learning from that, is steal time.
I try to.
Those tiny incremental, like half an hour slots where you're kind of in between moments in life where it's like, right, I've got to pick people up in this time, or I've got to like do this work at this time, or I've got to tidy up at this time. Like, if you're in a constant state where like you're like, oh, I'll do that when I'm done. Or I do that when life is kind.
Yeah, you'll never get it done.
It's never going to fucking happen.
Do it, yeah.
So steal time. If you
create the
want to
hyperbolic time chamber.
Exactly. There you go. There you go. See.
Exactly. I'm at a stage which is really annoying with the Gene Stealer cards, because I need to do the dirty down rust. It's actually, that stuff is really claggy at the bottom, and you need to shake it so furiously to get it all going that it takes me so bloody long to shake the paint pot that by the time I've got that done, I've been called away again. I wish I had some quicker way of doing it.
Well, you wait. Happy Christmas.
I hear some jingle bells.
Dun, 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 dun. We'll talk about that in the future. It'll change your life. It'll change your life.
I can't wait, mate. I can't wait.
Right, cool. So, last topic of today, our juicy lore-based topic. This is a good one.
Oh, I love it.
The galaxy's most villainous factions.
This might have to be the thumbnail. I don't know, actually. It kind of probably will be.
Yeah, well, yeah. It does work. But, we're not going to do a list of this. We're just going to have, a general discussion. But what do you think are the most villainous organizations / factions within the context of
now
40K
I'm talking
setting?
true mustache twirling.
I know,
villainy
I agree
and
with
you
this.
know
100%.
exactly where my mind's going straight away. The Drakari, also known as the Dark Eldar. They are fucking awesome.
Do you
they
know
are
the word?
Proper twirlers.
You might have to blank this, but the word that I would describe them is cunty.
Yeah, they are.
They are.
I'll let that one
definition.
slide. But they are. They're bastards. Proper bastards. Yeah. And not just to everyone else, but also to each other, which is what I love about them.
Equal opportunity bastards.
They fuck each other over continuously. They're like, Kamora must be an absolute shit show to live in because, even old, what's his name? What's the leader called? Damn it. My brain. What's his name? The leader of the
I can't
remember who. It's gone out of my head. He's one of my favourite guys in the lore, and I've already talked to him.
It's my birthday.
So he literally tricked somebody with exactly. He tricked somebody with a box with a black hole in it, and they opened it, and they were like, "Fuck!" and just got sucked a whole piece of Kamara into it. Into the city. Oh god,
dude, it's just obviously,
I have to Google this now.
Obviously, their modus operandi is the fact that they have to avoid Slaaneish's corruption by being the biggest dicks in the universe, right? And I just find the concept of that inflicting, elves being so evil that they're inflicting so much pain on their prisoners.
Yeah.
By turning them into living furniture or something when they're or doing unspeakable things. Have you found the name?
No, not yet. You carry on.
Oh, fucking hell, really?
Oh, Vect, that was it. Of course it's Vect.
Yeah, Vect.
As Drubael Vect. What an awesome name. He's such a bad lad. Oof.
But the fact that they literally survive through the suffering of others.
They literally just create misery and then they're like, oh.
My favourite story involving that is actually from the Tau's perspective because I love the naivety of the Tau because they at the time when they first encountered the Drakari, they didn't understand the difference between Eldari and Drakari. Mm-hmm. And of course the Tau were all like, hello, friends, and
come
the Drakari are like,
us.
hello, friends, and they were like, they made a deal with the Drakari to fight off some Tyranids invasion. I don't know if you've heard about this story.
No.
And essentially, the deal that the Drakari struck was they would trade 1,000 sort of people as embassy people to each other, right? Yeah, you see where this is going. And
idiots.
And the Tau were like, oh, of course, this sounds great. Here's 1,000 Tau. Look after them. They're we love our Tau, and they're like, yes, of course, we look after these Tau. And the Drakari are chilling out with the Tau, and I think the Tau are starting to realise how fucked up
with
this
these
is.
guys.
And obviously they were fighting, and then in the next sphere push back, the Tau noticed these gratuitous moaning Tau that were stitched together with other Tau, and they were like, help, kill us, as they were fighting the Tyranids and being used as a meat shield. And they're like, they're a fucking Tau. And the Drakari are like, ha 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 ha.
Was that us?
And the Tau was so pissed off by this that they then launched a counter-invasion of an Eldari craft world.
Oh, wow,
and destroyed an Eldari craft world that was an innocent Eldari craft world because they didn't understand the difference between Eldari and
the Drakari were like, this has worked out great.
Brilliant.
That'll keep Slaanesh from the door for a few more hours. Oh, it's great.
Cunty. There we go. So the OGs. So there we go. Drakari.
Great choice.
Well, I'm going to bring to the table a subject that is very divisive.
Yeah.
Because I hate this headspace, and it really irks me that the people that love. No, it's the people that like this. It's not political, but it's the people that like this faction justify the evils of this faction by saying that it's the innate sort of primal element of this faction that they will exist in this. And it is, of course, the Tyranids.
Yes.
And Tyranid fans will often go like, yeah, well, it's part of, like, they're just doing what they're
We're
like
just hungry
made to
boys.
do. Like, they're just hungry. And
We're just hungry boys.
Fuck off. They're terrifying. They're scary. They have zero morality in terms of like they will equal opportunistically eat anybody, man, woman, child, innocent, not. But also, my counterpoint to this whole like innocence is bliss theory is that it's not even bloody true. And what I will say about this is there was a moment in the lore where I think it was Tigris, the Ultramarines high.
Oh, Tiggy.
Old Tiggy.
Oh, Tiggy boy, yeah.
During, I think it was one of the various invasions of Macragge by the Tyranids. Because they've had issues with the Tyranids.
They've been trying to get up their crag for bloody ages.
For a little while. They've been crag hunters.
Yeah.
Where, like, Tigris actually connects with the hive minds
yes,
for, like,
I've
a
heard
brief
of
moment.
this.
Have you heard about this?
Yeah.
And he was overwhelmed by the hatred and personal vendetta that the Tyranids had for humanity, and in particular Macragge, and the fact that like the Ultramarines had been pushing back the Tyranids from that sector of space, and it was almost hateful. It was not this benevolent, like, we're gonna eat you because it's what we are. It was this deep, primal, I want to fucking eat your face, and I'm going to make you suffer and
I think
kill
primal
everyone.
is a good word for Tyranids.
Right?
Because they have that... I think they're different to the Drakari, in that Drakari are obviously very cerebral killers. And they're very evil in that way. That they're twisted, right? These guys are base, primal, predatory, hungry. And they've got that kind of... in this book that I've been reading recently, I brought it up the other day, the Death Wielders book, right? You see quite a lot of the Tyranids, and they are just fucking dead behind the eyes. Those things are evil. They are like straight up just trying to kill you the whole damn time. With like actual efficiency as well. That's like murderous efficiency. It's terrifying.
I guess this all philosophically ties to how you also feel about our own natural world, right? Where like people get very, and this is not to be political again, but this is like, you know, I'm a farmer's son. I have been on the front lines of how evil, like, creatures can be, right? Like, there is no morality in the natural kingdom. Fucked up shit happens. Like, babies get eaten. Like, shit goes all kind of haywire, right? And, like, it's rough. And, like, I don't see the natural world as this paragon of, like beauty. And it is beautiful in its own way, but it's not without... like really fucked up stuff going on there.
Was it Family Guy that said it best? Nature, you're scary.
You're scary. It's
like,
true.
It is true.
Tyranids, you're scary.
But
and
like,
it's like...
There are some things in nature, and they're kind of like touching on the farming side of things, like the fox in the hen house, right? You know, they get in, they kill all of them, and they'll eat
this
one.
is it. There is no need. There is no need
it's
for
blood
it,
lust, right?
Yeah. It's like it kicks in, and it's like I'm going to murder the entire hen house for no reason. It's like there is no sanctimony in nature, mate. It is fucked.
But no, the Tyranids are terrifying in a whole different way, I think.
And I will argue this to the hill. Anybody that disagrees, I respect your opinion, but you're wrong. Do
you get this feeling with the Tyranids? I, as a faction as a whole, I feel like they are a real, like, unstoppable force.
Oh, they're horrendous.
I feel like they're like a wave. Like, they just start coming in, and it's like the tide. It's like trying to stop the tide. Like, it's impossible.
It's impossible.
They just wash over you, right?
The nature of the Tyranids with how biomass works for them and their almost like ability to manipulate that and
but like it's also
decision.
When so in the Death Wielders book again, they're like taking over this planet. They're basically just killing it and turning it into like a Tyranid like world that they're going to eat. Like everything is turning against it. It's like raining bioforms that are eating through your skin, like tiny little microscopic bioforms, eating through your armor and your skin and metal, making it corrode.
When that eye is upon you, right, and like that shadow is upon you, and the Hive Fleet is above your world, you're fucked.
The whole level of that planet's ecosystem is against you now.
Exactly. And unless you're well defended, unless you're well like suited and booted, like ultramaster, and even then afterwards it was uninhabitable for centuries, right? But as you say, the very sort of like atmosphere of that planet is going to start like fighting you and consuming you, and it's indiscriminate.
Yeah.
It's indiscriminate. It's completely indiscriminate. It doesn't matter about your morality. It doesn't matter about your morals.
Like the Gene Stealer cult that helped soften that world up are losing their fucking marbles because they're like, I don't understand. Like, what's happening? What, the
patriarch is like, yes, I understood the entire time, but it's just like, I will be saved. But there you go. Like,
it's great. Tyrannids are a banging choice.
Nice one.
Horrific. So I've got another one that I think is, again, a different kind of evil in a way.
Different flavour.
A different flavour of evil. And that's obviously my boys, the Necrons. I can't go through this without mentioning them because they are...
Again, different.
Twisted in a way that is not like... They're not mustache twirling like the Drakari. They're not that unstoppable force like the Tyranids. But I think they're more of a sort of... slumbering hatred that is slowly reawakening to the galaxy. And I think that they really, really do not like the young races. And they really, really do not like the fact that they're...
xenophobia on a level that makes even the Imperium go, what the fuck?
Oh, they are the most racist fucks out there. Like, they hate everyone. They're like, who the fuck are you lot on our planet?
They've been there a long time, right?
They were like, we were here first, boys and girls.
Right at the beginning.
Yeah.
So, they knew the Crocs.
And you've got to remember that they are literally soulless machines now, So there is no humanity left in them in the same way as... And they weren't technically human to begin with. They were Necron tier, but they were human-esque. Like, they are death mad, death worshipping, death, obsessed, basically. They will ruthlessly kill you. They will kill you with just cold, dead hatred in their hearts. Yeah. And like, also there's two elements of them, which I absolutely love. And I want to focus on this point, which is the destroyers are like the epitome of nihilism. Those things will just fucking eradicate a world down to like the cellular level in a way that the Tyranids won't. Like the Tyranids will scar it clean, sure, but these guys, it will literally just be a husk.
It's like
and then they'll kill themselves.
It's like old man extermination of a golf course.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's like the voles of humanity, right? And it's like, you're fucking up my lawn.
Yeah. Like, there is actually a bit in one of the books, by the way, before anyone tries to correct me on the fact that they will kill themselves. There is actually a bit in one of the books where they say that they will eradicate all life and then they will turn on themselves and kill themselves because they don't even want to be alive. They're like, fuck life, bam. So that's it. Like, they're nuts. And then obviously the flayed ones are a completely different story where they have just lost their marbles. They want to come back to life. And it's
they're like wearing it, right? Because they want that humanity.
The Necrons are dark, man. They are
dark.
Fucked up.
They are really dark. You forget with their whimsy. Yeah. You forget how dark they actually are. And they're way more dark than you realise.
Because like a lot of them are, the more sort of their ones, the overlords and stuff are quite whimsical in the way they are because they still have these sort of like strange ways of doing things. But there's a lot of them that have had that. They've lost so much of themselves that they are literally just there to eradicate.
Well, this is it.
Kill.
I think they have such broad personalities that they fire off in wild directions, right? Whether it's like whimsy and eccentricity, right? Like collecting stuff and like, being like trolly or whatever, or acts of extreme, like inhumanity where you just get situations where like people just get wiped off the face of the earth, right? And it's just and
they've got some extremes. Like nuts super weapons. I'm pretty sure that they have some kind of super weapon which is actually able to physically control the universe's star map. Like it's an actual like live star map, and they can just be like, get rid of that star, and it would just be like, bap, crazy, some scary stuff. Yeah, that's
ironically we didn't mention chaos.
Yes, so I think we have to mention Chaos, right?
I mean, Chaos, this is interesting because after drinking the old Chaos Kool-Aid and after listening to
I know where you're going with this.
After listening to the Talon of Horus novel, which is actually one of the best 40k novels I've ever heard, actually, where you realise that, like, functioning in the Eye of Terror is, they have to function.
Yeah.
They have serfs and, like, slaves. And they need to actually still function as a legion. Otherwise, they would all turn into like Hellspawn. Yeah. Right? They're still abhumans, right? And they still need to like preserve that.
Yeah.
And you realize that like in the Eye of Terror, the way that like all the traitors are divided, like they are different shades of evil.
Yeah.
Right? Where like the Iron Warriors are evil in their like their ability to see life as a commodity, but like they will not indulge in the like senseless like I don't know, like revelries of it, right? Where it's just for them, it's just machineness, and they've got like forge worlds, and that's how they survive in the Eye of Terror.
Cold calculation, right?
Right, and like the Death Guard, their supporters, their human supporters, are like reveling in the fact that like the curse of the the grandfather's like poxes and stuff kind of make you immune to pain, and it's like, and yet they are horrifyingly distorted and fucked up, right? But the big bad in the Eye of Terror, and it's explored in the Talon of Horror series, are the Emperor's Children, who are the main antagonists in the entire thing. Where, like, you know, not to spoil it, but like they are in massive conflict with all of the other legions.
Yeah.
And in particular, the what would become the Black Legion, and even nick Horus's corpse at one point to try and like clone him. They are like mustache twirly and really loving. I think guess because Slanesh as well is all about that like overload of like, I guess in a weirdly way, a dark mirror to the Jakari as well, if you think about it, right? That's their whole shtick.
Yeah.
Is like the suffering and the overloading of the senses and indulging all of that darkness.
Yeah.
That, you know, they are the dickheads of the warp, right? And like you know, they take the pleasure in the pain of others.
Their piles of potential must be huge.
And their parties.
But no, you're bang on. I think like they really do revel in that pain and suffering, right? That is a fully evil, like they've committed themselves to evil, right?
Yeah.
In a way that some of the others may not have done entirely. There's some flicker and element of humanity to a lot of these.
Still there, just there, like
just
almost tragically so, like tragically so, like a husk.
Yeah.
Right? Where like it's still partially there, whether it's pride or like.
Now, obviously, we're
like
talking about Chaos Space Marine Fallen Legions here, right?
Yeah,
we're not talking about Chaos Demons, which are obviously clearly evil.
They're pure evil.
They are malice. Right? That is what they are. So that's a pretty obvious one.
And I don't think that like any of the traitor legions are good. I'm not on that train where I'm like Chaos is misunderstood.
Apart from the
Chaos
Alpha
is fucking
Legion,
evil.
obviously.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean,
who the fuck knows?
There.
Right? Like, you know, I don't know. Like, it's twisted. And you know, but it's lesser and greater degrees of evil than Chaos, unfortunately. Very quickly as well, just to wrap things up. Guess the Inquisition, just as like again,
that's a good one.
That cold, hard, bureaucratic, like, and that's even worse in a kind of way because that's
they know
humanity.
What they're about, right?
Yeah, they know it, and it's human.
They are
right,
ruthless.
and it's like you know that like what happened in Armageddon, where it's like, we're gonna destroy that entire planet because. You saw a grey knight. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, and that's the worst bit because it's behind the veil of like humanity's.
I've read some bits and dreams, and they are terrifying. Like like everybody. I love the reactions of like regular people to when they see an inquisitorial rosette. They shit their pants. They're like, "Oh fuck, like, I'm going to die and be tortured." Yeah, in the most horrific way.
Or my family are fucked.
I'm going to be a servitor. yeah, exactly. It's fucking terrifying.
I'm going to be a slave, right, to the machine of the Imperium, and it's like, don't get me wrong, there are some like notable heroes in the Inquisition, like Greyfax and of course Eisenhorn and stuff. But there are some villains, some true like is it
a lot of Inquisitors have turned
Harkman
to
or
Chaos.
something. The really crazy one that decided, I can't remember his name. I think it's Harkman or something, that decided to stop Tyranids from like mapping out to just eradicate the worlds ahead of time. To just wipe them out and stop the Tyranids. Hashtag didn't work.
Nope.
Hashtag didn't work. Or to like make orcs and Tyranids do an infinite like thing against each other. But still didn't work.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And it's like, and that experimentation, that like thought could cost billions, if not trillions.
They need to trick the Necrons into it because Tyranids hate fighting the Necrons. They do genuinely hate it because they're psychically inert. And they're made out of metal, which just basically fucks off back to the tomb world when it's destroyed. So what do they eat? They hate fighting them.
Yeah.
They hate them.
Yeah.
So that's what they should have done.
Let us know your favourite Villainous factions. We might do this again another time because it was quite a lot to pack in, but that was good. That was fun. I really enjoyed that. Yeah. I bet you did. It's because you are Jakari. I can see it.
Oh, no, stop it.
Yeah, you go see. There you go. Also, they're all the fucking factions that you play or are like sympathetic to.
I didn't mention the Gene Stealer.
Yeah. Oh God, that's freaked me out a bit. You are Captain Evil.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Twirl my mustache.
Yeah, as well.
Love it.
Right, everybody. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Like I said, like, comment, subscribe. Please comment on our videos. It helps the old algorithm. And hopefully we will not be punished by Daddy Algorithm. Please, Daddy Algorithm.
Yeah, check out our Discord server community if you guys want to jump in. That'll be in the description below. We also do have a Patreon if anybody wants to help us cover our running costs. But that's what it's there for.
Right now, to be fair.
Thank you, guys. But yeah, it's been a pleasure. As always, thoroughly enjoyed this week. We've had loads to talk about. It's been great.
Loads.
So much.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you. You are an amazing dude.
Likewise, you. Thanks, Russ.
See what you think of your Christmas present.
Oh, I'm excited. I'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, I will.
Definitely. Yeah, an unboxing. All right, guys. Catch you next week.
Love you all. Bye-bye. Cheers.
Have a long time.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.